Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I had a few requests over the holiday season to put together something like this. This is a little bit different, not working on cars, not doing anything. We're actually going to do a little gardening, which is something I love to do. I have a small addiction, zygo cactus, or Christmas cactus, or Thanksgiving cactus, whichever way you choose to do it. And somebody asked me, I have hundreds and hundreds, well, I don't have hundreds of them, but I have a lot of them. And somebody asked me, how do you take care of them? How do you propagate them and keep them going? So I figured I'd make a little short video. I've got all these things you can see in there. There's roots in the bottom of them. But I've got all these things rooted, and I'm going to pot a couple of them. And I'm going to show you some of the pitfalls of or maybe not pitfalls, but I'll show you some tips on how to really take care of them and how to get them to root too. Okay, so I'm going to reset the camera. Be right back. All right, I'm going to stay out of the frame a little bit and just kind of show you some of these guys. Somebody asked me once, how do you root these things, and nature will sometimes cause these things to break off. Sometimes your pets will cause them to break off, and sometimes people will cause them to break off. So this particular one came off of one of my red ones, as you can tell. It's still got some beautiful color, even though it's really, really dehydrated. But I wanted to take a moment just to kind of show you. Somebody asked me, how do you propagate these things? And my answer was, even when they're healthy and on the plant, you'll see roots pop up in here. And at any one of these little junctions right here is an ideal place to snap it off and stick that in water. Give it 2 or 3 weeks, and you'll have something that looks a little bit like that. You'll have roots all in the bottom of it. I'll show you that when I take it out of the jar. But this one I got lazy. I just put it in there, and this is kind of what I wanted to show you. When you get to these bigger pieces like this, they tend to not root, and they'll actually rot when you put them in the water. You can see how that's kind of yucky and rotten. So what I will end up doing with this guy is, probably because you don't see any roots right there, I will probably go back to these joints here and I'll break these guys off. So I'm gonna just right above or below that knuckle, whichever way you want to look at it, I'm gonna break that off right there, and I'll take this whole stem. This whole stem should be okay, because now we have roots right in here, and these will take off once I put those in water. So I'll put these back in water and attempt to root them. I've had these in water probably for about 3 weeks now. Kind of gonna do the same thing here, since that one's broken. I'm gonna grab this right there and just break it off, and this little guy, he'll return to nature. And then we'll root this guy. So I'm gonna put these back in water, and I'll put these back in water and deal with them, because they did not root well, because I was lazy and I put too big of a branch in it. Yeah, as you can see, I already took one of them and put it in there. Look how, this guy was in water. It was one of the other ones, but it actually did root. But look, they're so resilient. They pop out little feeler roots, and I guess in the wild these things would probably crawl along the ground, and they just keep going forever. You'd have a big old creeping garden of them if you had them outside. But they make really great potted plants, so that's kind of what I wanted to just kind of show you today. So in this one, this one is one of my white ones. I broke it off, put a couple of branches in there, and then I have a beautiful fuchsia pink one that I broke some branches off. Actually, I think my cat broke the branch off, and so I broke them apart, stuck them in a jar, and rooted them. And let me show you this. So watch this guy. So when we pull this guy out, see all the roots in the bottom of that? That will pot nicely. And probably what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll probably make 2 pots out of that. And because I love to mix the colors, we'll put a little white and a little bit of pink in a pot. So let's pot them. I have some cactus palm and citrus potting mix. I don't usually use this. I usually just use whatever I have. This I happen to have around because I had some other cactus that I planted. Real cactus. Well, not that these aren't real cactus, but so I'm going to use this. The soil's a little bit dry, so it's going to be a little bit dusty. I'll have to rehydrate it once we get the plants in there. So whenever I buy like little pots, I keep these around for getting stuff like this started. One of the things about these cactus, make sure you have holes in the bottom of it. If you don't have drainage holes in the bottom of it, I have used solo cups before, and I've punched holes in the bottom of them. But if you use something like this that's enclosed, you'll trap water in the bottom of them, and you'll risk rotting the cactus. So don't do that. Use something with drain holes. So let's put about I'm going to put about that much soil in there, because what I want to do is I'm going to pack this down and I'll lay the roots on top of that, and then I'll fill in the rest of it. In fact, I may take just a little bit of that out, because I like to use the sides of when they're young like this, they don't have a whole lot of strength to stand. So I like to use the sides of the pot to help hold them up. So there's one of my nice big white ones. So I'm going to grab a white one. I'm going to grab some of these pink ones that are all like mashed together. And we'll get a good, we'll get a little bundle, maybe about like that, to stick in this one. Grab one more. There we go. Come on. And you might have to break the roots apart, and it's not going to hurt them. You can stick them back in the jar and they'll be just fine. So I have this, and I think I might try to rearrange this just a little bit so that the white one is sort of in the middle, because the white ones, just because, now see, that one didn't root very well, so I might stick that one back in water and let him go. Again, I would go 2 leaves. If you're trying to root these, I would go 2 leaves, sometimes 3, and if you have more than that on it, the plant's so concerned with trying to keep itself alive that it doesn't create roots. So that one might be okay. It's got a little root on it, but I'm gonna put him back in water, and we'll let him. We'll save him for another day. So I have one white one in the middle of this. Let me see if I can find another white one. Let's do that real quick, because I got a lot of them in here. So pull my jar out. Look at this guy. All right, there we go. See. And that's fine. That's enough roots. This cactus will do just fine. Plant it so that the dirt's maybe about up to here. You don't want to bury it too deep, or you'll cause this to rot. Put that in there maybe about 1 inch, and that'll survive just fine. And you'll want to keep the soil for the first little bit. You'll want to keep it a little moist, because if you don't, then the plant will dehydrate and die. So I'm gonna take this guy, as well as these. Let's put, I'm going to drop him sort of like right in there like that. Actually, we'll turn him this way. That way we kind of balance the pot just a little bit. But I'll take that, and I'll literally set it just right in there, like that. And then I'll put some soil around it. So I'll grab my knee here. I'll put some soil around it to kind of hold it up. I know I'm making a mess, aren't I? So now that I've got a little bit of soil around it, I'll let it spread out just a little bit, and we'll put some soil on the inside, just so that we get just a little bit of coverage. We get a little coverage over those roots, and it's literally that simple. This plant will thrive. It'll be fine. Again, They like to be packed in there, so I'm not using a whole lot of force, but I'm just kind of packing him in there so that he's got something to support him as he grows. Um, and I'm just kind of, fluffing them out a little bit so that they grow into a big full pot. And I'll show you one of my big ones here in a little bit. But yeah, see, that guy will be just fine. This white one will grow out this way. This one will grow out that way, and have some pink ones in here. And the nice thing is, when this thing blooms, you'll have a multicolored pot, and it'll be really pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'll water this down really well and let it drain, and this guy's done. And I got a lot more to do, so I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll show you some of my bigger ones that I've had a lot of success with. So hope that helps. Hope you enjoy that, and yeah, these guys are a lot of fun. They're beautiful plants. They're so easy to take care of. So I wanted to show you this. I dipped into my second jar, and look what they do. They just, they root and they just grow all through there. This one will be fun to kind of separate a little bit. But I've got, if you look, I've got some red ones in here. You can see the red leaves on the red tips on the leaves, and then I've got this pretty pink one. And these guys bloomed, even though they were separated from the plant. I know it hurts. I'm pulling the pretty blooms off. But they've done their thing. I'm going to take them off, save some energy for the plant. Ooh, I just pulled that one out. So I'm going to pot this guy, and I'll show you my pots, and then I'll show you one of my nice big ones. Alright, so I'm all done. Let me show you what we got. So check out my cool pots. So this is the white one and the pink one that we were working on earlier. Got them all nice and wet down. I told you my soil was dehydrated. You can see that it's still dry in there, so I'm going to give it a little more water. You want to give it a good soaking just so that the soil has some moisture to help sustain the growth of the plant in its early stages like this. And I water my plants that way anyway. So when I water one of my big cactus, I water it until water comes out of the bottom. And then I know I've got enough in it. And sometimes the cactus will draw it back up pretty quickly. If it doesn't, don't let it sit in water. You'll rot the roots out if you do that. But as long as you water it all the way down so that you get water over all the roots, it causes the cactus just to grow out into the pot, and it makes it really healthy. So see, there's one of them, and there's another one that we did. Got a red one in there along with a pink one. And you can plant these things as sparse or as thick as you want. I went pretty thick because I like the plants to come out and just be really bushy and thick. The other advantage to doing this, rather than just taking a branch or one or two or three and put it in there, the plant in this situation is actually holding itself up. It's sustaining it or supporting it inside the pot. If you try to do one of these and one of these and maybe three of them or something, you're gonna have a hard time getting the soil to support the plant, and it'll want to fall over and it'll lay on the side, and it doesn't make a really pretty pot because when it lays over like that, it tends to just kind of grow over the side of the pot, and it's just it doesn't make a really good plant. And then there's a couple more. So all done. And I promise you this is one, and it's not even my biggest one, but there. This is what they grow into. So this is a pot that I put together pretty much from rootlings like that, and they just grow. They're super hardy plants. They're easy to take care of. I feed them probably every other time I water them. Just regular old Miracle Grow plant food, nothing special. And as you see, they turn out to be very beautiful plants. They're they're really hardy. They do well, especially down here in the south. I put them outside on the deck in the summer, and in the winter I take them in. So, recap. So these didn't get potted, and I wanted to show you these real quick. So some of them, I remember what I said. I had a couple of them that were way too big, so I ended up trimming them back. And as you can see, I broke them off where the roots are down here. Now these little pieces right here will end up rotting off, which is fine. But these roots will pick up, once we rehydrate these roots, they'll pick up and they'll support the plant and it'll produce more roots. And then you can plant this guy later. So I'm just going to lay these guys in there, make sure they get all down on the bottom, and then I'll put some water in there. Maybe just, just enough to cover the bottom, and they'll do just fine. So, hope you enjoyed that. It's a little different than what I usually do on the channel. Like I said, I got a bunch of just requests from people. They've seen the pictures I post on Instagram and Facebook about my cactus and how pretty they are. May throw a couple of them in here as an outro, just to let you see what they looked like when they were in full bloom. So these are beautiful plants. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do, and thanks for watching. So we'll see you next time.